Okay, the other day I had a real fun problem. The ignition key wouldn't turn. I was at work and the ignition key wouldn't turn. I fixed it yesterday, but I did not have a chance to film it, so I'm going to film it now because I've got to pull the tumbler out to repaint the little face thing. You'll see in a second why I have to pull this thing out to repaint it. But anyway, I put the key in and the key would not turn whatsoever. I got it working and got it home, thank God. But anyway, if your key is starting to get sticky and won't turn on, then you need to do something about this now before this problem crops up. Because if you can't turn your ignition key to, you can fix this and make sure this doesn't happen to you when it's just starting to get bad. But if it gets to the point where you can't turn it to position 1, it may cost you almost $1,000, $500-600 to fix this. But right now it's going to cost you almost nothing. If your key is just a little bit sticky once in a while, do this now and make sure you don't cost yourself any money. So what you're going to do is, sorry, there's still, as you can see, that it's all scratched up in there. That's why I'm pulling this off, because I'm going to repaint this. I scratched it up because I had to yank it off with a pair of, I had to yank the ignition barrel off. And I didn't have the proper tools at the time when I did it. Anyway, if you've got the coated key with the, it's coated around this ring. There's a little sensor in there. So first, if you don't have the coating, you just pull this whole thing off. If you do have a code thing inside of your key, see, I made a couple dents here the other night doing this without, because like I said, I didn't have the proper tools to do it. This key ring just pops out. It's a bit of a pain, but it'll come out. Come on, baby. There we go. So I had to pry it out the other night, and I'm pissed because my dash is dented there, but I'm going to undent that with some heat. Anyway, you pop this off, and see the little wire that's attached to this? That's for the sensor for the coded key. So be careful with that, and you're going to have to leave it dangling. And now you're going to see this cover over the ignition tumbler, and there's a flat spot on the top of the tumbler, and that's, you remember that's where the flat spot's going to go. So you're going to grab it with a pair. There's a factory tool for this, but this isn't the factory tool. This is just a pair of channel locks. You're going to grab it, and depending on your car, turn it right or left. Mine turns to the left, so counterclockwise. See, it's a bitch to grab. That's why it's a little scratched up. And you're going to turn it about 90 degrees. Oh, see, it's a pain to grab this thing, and it will. Okay, so once that's turned about 90 degrees, take your key, turn it in. See, now it's sticking again. There's a little key lock, the thing that locks the steering wheel is on the side, and this is going to interfere with it a little bit. So this is kind of a pain in the butt operation. Okay, there, it's loose. So I'm going to try and turn this, push in and turn, and get it to disengage from the side of the cylinder without having to have the key in there, because it's a pain to turn the key when this tumbler, or when this side cover is being turned at the same time. I'm probably going to have to turn it at the same time. So where's that old key? I've got an old busted key that's a lot easier to use to turn, so I'm not putting torque on my regular key. So I'll turn it to position 1, which is the first click. Get the accessory on position. Now slightly turn, there we go, that will unlock it. I mean, you can turn this barrel and then turn the key, but this key was sticky without it, so once it's unlocked, this barrel is now, you see it pulls out, it's unlocked from the sides of the whole ignition. Now grab the key and wiggle it gently back and forth until the barrel pops out. You might have to turn it halfway in between 1 and 2, which is what I had to do. So, let me pull this out. If you get to pull the key out and get this around, put your fingers on the pins. See little pins on the side? They probably won't pop out on you, but if they do, you will be in deep doo-doo. It'll take you forever to figure out what order they go back in. And yank your key out and take the barrel off. So you see the little pins that stick out. I shouldn't be taking the key out, but I'm doing this to show you. The little pins that stick out when you stick your key in, they're all supposed to line up flush with the barrel, so now it can be turned inside this cylinder. You see the 2 top and bottom channels where it gets locked in. So when you pull it out, these little pins go out and they go in the channels and they lock. And most cars are basically exactly the same. I mean, most key cylinders are the same. But over time, your key wears out and these things start to not be pushed in as far. And see, they can pop out and just be a little too far, and they're grabbing on the edges there, so you can't turn your key. And if they get so worn out to the point where you can't turn the key at all, you won't be able to remove this and replace it or fix it. You have to smash this apart to get it open, and that's not fun. So what you want to do is take the key out. Like I said, just exactly like this, leave the key in order to get the metal collar, the locking collar off. You'll slide the key out, but just hold your fingers over top of the pins when you slide the key out. And then take the collar off, slide the key in, and then you'll take a file or an emery board, piece of sandpaper, whatever. These are brass. So what I did was just push in from one side. You could push in on the little pins so because they're spring loaded. They're not, if you're going to try and sand them, they're just going to push back in. So you push it from the opposite side so it's sticking out a little bit. Sand it down till they're nice and smooth. And then merely we're just going to reinsert this thing. It's once these are all nice and when you put your key in, they're nice and flush with the barrel. Then you can just go ahead and grease the crap out of it, clean it up, and then grease it up with, I use dielectric grease. You'll stick the barrel back in and then turn it to lock it, and the key can come out again. The key will work again. Sorry, this key is kind of nasty. This key doesn't really fit in this ignition very well. But I used it just in order to yank on it, because like I said, my ignition was stuck and I had to really work at it to get it to move. And then the locking collar, like I said, this is the flat spot here is going to be up. When you install this, you'll put it 90 degrees to the left and then push in and turn it with the channel locks. There's a little groove. See, there's a little slot in there that catches in a lip underneath there and holds the key on. And this is the part that it holds the tumbler. And sorry, this is the part that is the problem on mine. I scratched it up at work, gouging this bastard out of there. Excuse the expression, but I'm just going to paint this. So that's why I'm pulling it out again. And since I'm pulling it again, I can show you it. So now I'm going to put it back in. To put it back in, I'm going to pull the key cylinder out. It's all covered in grease, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, get in there. Okay, a little white tab. There's a little white plastic tab and a large tab. Just make references to where they went when you were pulling them out, at basically what point they were on the wheel. You might have to push this sucker in a little bit and then wiggle it until they're going in. Turn until you can pull the key out. Come on. See, this key's kind of sticky. And then finally you'll grab the barrel lock again and turn 90 degrees until it's locked. Flat spot on the top. Now it may be a little sticky like this one is at the moment because this barrel is got pretty chewed up. Let me try my regular key. did this on me last time. Yay! Camera down. Sorry about that. It did this on me last time too. I had to pull it in and out a few times to get everything completely unstuck. But just be gentle with it, take care of it, and it, just don't force the crap out of it. Because this outer ring and the key barrel have to, I'm going to take this off again and show you, just to show it to you. Okay, turn to position 1. Unlock the ring, slide it out. Okay, I'm going to stick the barrel in to show you what's going on in here. Take the barrel off. Okay, see this part right here, this plastic lip there, that's the steering lock. The steering lock pin. And that's when you turn the key, it pushes and puts pressure. Damn it. This key really doesn't want to turn it. It puts pressure on the pops out against this barrel lock ring right here. So that's why it's hard to turn. It's very hard to turn at some points. And you have to make sure it's greased inside and lubed up so that this thing, so that the key can turn freely in there. You just have to monkey around with it a little bit and you'll get it in properly. Anyway, I'm going to paint this and put it back together, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.